You want to learn how to install this type of air conditioners? Come to this playlist that I am going to teach you step by step completely how to do it and all the errors. After half an hour of vacuuming with our pump, yes. What we have to do is close the low pressure gauges and high and then just turn off the pump.
Apagar la bomba.
There we have to see that the vacuum is maintained for at least 20 minutes on both gauges. If the vacuum is maintained for more than 20 minutes at -30 psi, yes. The little needles stuck there as they are means that I do not have any leak in the piping nor in all the complete air conditioning equipment. After that, we are already going to be ready to open the gas, open the high valves, and low, and you all are going to see how the gauges go up, they go. The gas pressure goes up as I open the valves. You can see the valve of low. Notice how the pressure increases. And once we reach the end, we have to turn back half a turn to prevent gas from leaking through the valves sometimes. We open both valves completely. And then we can already energize our equipment to see how it behaves. Notice that when I am going to energize it, first it opens the fins. Do a general testing of the equipment. And then the flaps of the indoor unit close again. After waiting for it to power, the flaps to close, then we do turn on our air conditioner. At the lowest temperature possible, that is 16 or 18 degrees Celsius, depending on the equipment. Then what we are going to do is wait for it to stabilize about 5 or 10 minutes approximately. And then we proceed to measure the temperature of the air in the evaporator and the temperature of the air at the outlet of the condenser. If the temperature difference between the environment and what comes out of the evaporator gives me between 12 and 16 degrees Celsius, the equipment is fine. Then, when we measure the air temperature that comes out of the condenser, this must be much hotter. Then what is the ambient temperature? If it is not so, it could be that the equipment is lacking gas. If I measure the temperature in the high pressure pipe, I can observe that I have approximately 40 degrees Celsius. That is the temperature in the high pressure pipe. If at this temperature, which are 40 degrees, we subtract the temperature that the pressure says that the high pressure gauge marks for me, which in that case was 290 psi. Let's see what we have. The temperature of approximately 290 psi. We do the calculation here of 34 degrees approximately for this gas, which is our 410A. That difference, 32 minus 40, should give us between 4 and 6 degrees Celsius. This is because, as we see, we have a mixture in here of AI heat or hot air and cold air, yes. That is why we get that difference. Now, when measuring the low temperature pipe and low pressure, it gives us a temperature of 15 degrees Celsius. If we do the subtraction of the temperature that the pipe gives us with the temperature that the pressure gauge indicates to us for 100 psi, which is what we have, is 1 degree Celsius. So yes, that subtraction between the 15 degrees Celsius and a degree that the pressure gauge marks for us gives us 14 degrees Celsius. The normal should be between 5 and 7 degrees Celsius. Well, now we are going to turn off the equipment. Yes, there it makes the beep. And you all are going to see how the pressures tend to stabilize. In the meantime, I tell you that if you are watching the video, I'm going to ask you that please you subscribe and share it so you can reach more people. Additionally, you can ask me for the table of the optimal subcooling values and superheating values. Now, if what I want is to recover the gas, in order to be able to uninstall my air conditioning and be able to clean it, what I have to do is similar to that of the mini split units, but with one exception. If I look through here, in this place in the discharge pipe, I can see that there is a pressure switch. This pressure switch, what it does is read the internal pressure of the system and it is also connected in series with the contactor. The contactor in this case is a contactor of 220 volts, and as I was telling you, it is connected in series with the pressure switch. So, if the pressure switch detects high pressure above normal, it activates the contactor and turns off the compressor. So what it does is deactivate the contactor and turn off the compressor. This happens when the evaporator or the condenser is clogged with dirt, for example. Then the pressure rises, and in this case the pressure switch activates to prevent that the compressor gets damaged. So if we want to recover the gas, as we normally do with the mini splits, this protection is going to trip. Notice that if we now close the high valve, then the compressor will continue sucking. And at some point it will want to discharge everything that it sucks in. So there it is going to trigger the pressure switch, and it will notify the board or the contactor to trip that the compressor is overloaded. It has a high pressure. So that is what is going to make it trip. And it is not going to let us recover the gas, as we normally do with the mini splits. And then, how do we do to recover the gas? What we have to do is place the screwdriver in that place, on the contactor, on that button that the contactor has. And there we make the compressor run in contingency mode. There the compressor works just the same. It is important to know that when we work in this way, what starts is only the compressor, and not the fans of the outdoor unit. There it can be seen how it is reaching vacuum. Once at least 30 psi remains, we leave it a little while longer. We close the valve. We close it all the way. We see that it reaches the limit, and above all we verify that it does not leak. And finally we close the manifold. So there, we release. With the screwdriver we release, and there remains the compressed gas inside of what is the outdoor unit. In summary, what we did up to here is force the compressor to start by bypassing what is the pressure switch. So this allows me to collect all the refrigerant fluid that is in the pipes and in the evaporator inside the compressor, and I must always verify that it remains in a negative pressure in vacuum, so there I do not lose any gas when I disconnect the pipes. Well friends, I hope it serves you. A greeting. See you.